Hello friends, I am back today to share with you my September and October 2024 wrap-ups. As you can probably tell, I didn't love the setup in the last video, so here we are. So starting in September was when I don't really know why, but I stopped basically buying books and I stopped reading books that I already owned. These last two videos are going to mostly be covers put up because I don't own the books. So to start off September, I read the Corrupted Royals series by Michelle Hurd. Book 1 is Destroy Me. This one is a mafia romance. I believe they have a night together and they don't really know who each other are. And then they go their separate ways. And the second time they meet up, they realize who the other one is and that it's the rival. I gave this one 4 stars. Book 2 is Control Me. This one is about a mafia princess who basically is sent to a training academy, and she falls for one of the men there that's supposed to teach her, he's one of the teachers there that is supposed to teach self-defense and how to combat fight. I also give this one 4 stars. I will say I think this is the one that had not a really graphic SA scene, but it does deal a lot with SA and the mental side of it afterwards. So I gave this one 4 stars. Book 3 is Brutalize Me. This one is about a different mafia princess who has kind of resigned herself to an arranged marriage with a not great guy, even though that's not what she wants from her father. But her brother steps in and arranges her to be married to one of his friends, who is a much better guy. And then she falls in love with the brother's friend that she marries. Book 4 is Restrain Me. This is another mafia princess and the bodyguard that her father hires her, who turns out to be an assassin. And it's a whole thing, and she's doesn't trust him. And I gave this one 3 stars. Because girl, if you have a bodyguard who can literally people when they try to hurt you, why are you going to be mad that he didn't tell you that he could do that? So, book 5, Possess Me. This one's a little bit harder to explain. It starts off in the past. It's a mafia romance. He and his friends are sent to kidnap this girl, but she realizes that they are onto him, she realizes that they are onto her, and she switched clothes with this American girl. I think she was American. Anyway, but basically they kidnapped the girl that she switched clothes with and not the one that they really meant to. And so he tries to help her, but his dad is not really about that. And so they fall in love while he's trying to help her, but he kidnapped her. And then in their they made an escape plan. He thinks she dies during the escape, and so he's really heartbroken. And then in the present day, he finds out that she's still alive. I gave this one 4 stars. Next was Bright Lights and Summer Nights by Kat Singleton. This one is a billionaire sports romance. Fake dating. I believe they meet when she's trying to sneak into the country club that his sister's engagement party or wedding rehearsal or something is at. But basically he asks that he catches her, and then the rest of his family comes out and is oh yeah, this is the girlfriend that you've all been waiting to meet. And so he asks her to fake date. What did I give this one? I gave this one 3 stars. I don't really remember why. I remember the setup and I remember all that, but I don't really remember why I gave it 3 stars, but apparently I did. Next, I went back to the North Carolina Highland series that I started last month, by Jessica Peterson. Book 3 is Southern Sinner. This is kind of they meet in Vegas and then he asks her to come home with him to North Carolina as his fake girlfriend. He had a bit of a thing this is one of the brothers that had a bit of a thing for one of the girls in the previous book. And so he wants to show his family that he's moved on, even though he really hasn't. That's why I gave it 3 stars, because at the beginning, for the majority of the beginning of the book, I didn't feel like he had moved on. And then all of a sudden he was just over her and ready to move on, and I didn't love that. So like I said, 3 stars. Book 4 is Southern Playboy. This brother is an NFL player, and when he's home for like the off season, he finds out that he has a 2-year-old son, and his high school best friend helps him like take care of, like, kind of be a nanny, but not really like an official nanny. I gave this one 3 stars. I didn't love the fact that I don't love when he finds out that he has a kid and then needs a nanny, and all of a sudden he's all about the nanny. I'm like, you literally have a kid to take care of and you don't know what to do. And so are you really in love with her because you love her, or are you in love with her because she can take care of your kid? And this was another one where I felt that way. I think in the last video I talked about one from Lulu Moore that had the same vibe. So yeah, not doing great. Finally, book 5 is Southern Bombshell. This is the sister's story. She's a wedding planner for the family resort, and in one of the previous books, they kind of have like a family rivalry with this other family. It's not super prevalent in any of the books besides this one, but in one of the previous books, she had kind of convinced her brother to work with one of the guys, and they kind of thought that maybe she had a thing with him, but then he ends up leaving town, and so they were like, maybe she didn't have a thing for him. And then in this book, he returns to town 2 years later with his fiance, who wants her to plan their wedding. I gave this one 5 stars. It did get very close to cheating, I will say that, but I liked that she always stood her ground and was like, no, not until you figure out what you're doing. Yeah, I gave this a 5 stars, which I really didn't think I would, because it, like I said, it does kind of, it gets real close to cheating. But next was Where We Ended by Ashley Munoz. This is book 4 in her Stone Riders MC series, and I gave this one 2 stars. This one is the book that like the whole series has set up for. One of the girls that lives with the Motorcycle Club for Protection has always had this other motorcycle guy like watching out for her. And this is their story, and I didn't like it. It was 2 stars. So I'm gonna have to spoil this book, so until I put my hand down, we're talking spoilers. So she grows up with him and his brother and falls for him, does not ever fall for the brother. I want to point that out very clearly. She does not have feelings other than friendship for the brother. Well, basically the brothers are like pitted against each other because of their father, who like is one of the crazy, like, bad motorcycle men. And the brother is kind of raised more like the father, and in this book kidnaps the main female character, handcuffs her to him, will not let her use the bathroom or take a shower without him there, continuously, when those things are happening, makes comments about SAing her, and does kind of, he's like gonna SA her until they're interrupted. Sorry, fingers still up, still doing spoilers. So the main male character comes and saves her, and everything's great, whatever. The brother is given a redemption arc, which, fuck no, not happening. And then they name their first child after the brother because he passes away because he dies while he's saving her. No, absolutely not. I have no time for that. I despised the characters in this book for the choices that they made. They're very, very, very lucky I gave it 2 stars. I think just because I finished it, I gave it 2 stars, but spoilers done. We're moving on. Then I started the Bluegrass Empire series by Sawyer Bennett. I only read books 1 and 2. I never picked up book 3 when it came out. Book 1 is The Feud. This one, the main male character and his family own like a horse training facility. And then something happens. I forget exactly what, but basically he like needs the help of the main female character, and they're kind of friends, and then it turns into more so, I guess, friends to lovers. They work together a lot, so I gave this one 3 stars. Book 2 is The Forbidden. He runs this like bourbon company, and she works as a horse trainer at the farm at the first one. And so they are very opposite. He's like super strict businessman, and she's a little bit more carefree. I gave this one 5 stars. I really enjoyed this one. It was opposites attract. There was the bourbon, there was the horse. Like it was like a good, real like small town romance. Next was The Patriot by Jennifer Milliken. This is book 1 in the Hayden family. This is a like he's just returned, a small town romance. He's just returned from the military. He's been in the military and is just returning home, and she. Goodreads says it's a second chance. I don't remember it being that, but basically she like goes to help him like work on his like run his family's ranch. What did I give this one? I gave this one 4 stars. It was good. I feel like maybe it was a 3 star now, because I feel like I remember thinking, I don't know when this one was written, but I feel like mid 2010s small town romances, this would have been like amazing 5 stars. I felt like it had that kind of vibe. After that, I read Twisted Truth by P. Rain. This is in their fairy tale retelling series. This one is a Little Mermaid retelling. She saves him in like the ocean, and then goes to his home, the Midnight Manor, as like she's hired to be his assistant. Yeah. Gave it 5 stars. Really loved this one. It was probably my favorite of the whole series. A couple videos ago, I mentioned that I'm still trying to find a really good Formula One romance. I listened to Cross the Line by Simone Sultani. This one is a brother's best friend Formula One romance. She is like a social media person, and he is really in need of some help on his social media. And they meet, and he like thinks that she could help him, but he kissed her and then ran off like before the book started, and so she's not really feeling like she wants to help him. I gave this one 4 stars. It was a good setup. Something about it never really like clicked for me. After that, I read Vow of Revenge by P. Rain. This one is book 1 in the Mafia Academy series. The main female character in this one is sent to the Mafia Academy. Her fiance that she's been arranged to since she was a child, she believes has just died. And so she's like really excited to go to the academy and kind of have a little bit more freedom. But one day when she's sitting in class, that fiance walks in, and he basically kind of like tells her like, no, you're not getting out of this. I want you. You're mine. This one was so good. I gave it 5 stars. After that, I read Ruined by Sarah Vaughn. It's also got Sarah Winifred Searle and Nikki Smith. I believe those are the illustrators. This is a historical romance graphic novel that I picked up from The Ripped Bodice when my friend and I went to Disney and Universal. One of our off days, we went to The Ripped Bodice. I did end up only giving this one 4 stars. I wanted more of it. The graphic novel stuff, there's a lot of setup. Basically, it's about a woman who is ruined, and she doesn't think that anybody will want her, until, was he a duke? It doesn't really say if he's a duke, but basically, he needs her dowry to fix up the land that his family runs, and she needs a husband to make people stop talking about her, so I gave it 4 stars. Next up in the P. Rain series is Corrupting the Innocent. Takes place at the Mafia Academy. The main female character has always been in love with her best friend's older brother, but he is just kind of recently been announced to be arranged to be married to this other girl, and she knows how he feels about duty and honor and like making his family proud, and so she like kind of tries to like hide her feelings, and she doesn't do a very good job because they end up having a little moment, and then after their moment he can't stop thinking about her, which is ultimately why I gave it 4 stars, because she had feelings for him way before that, and I wish that he had kind of even had like a little tiny bit of feeling, but I did still really enjoy it. Book 3 in that series is The Mafia King's Sister. This one sounds like basically what it is. They're not in the same mafia family, but the little sister ends up coming to the academy and meets one of the other mafia family. I guess he's the head, future head or whatever. Even though everyone, his father, her brother, like they tell his friends, everyone tells him to like steer clear, stay away from her. She's not for you. He just can't seem to. Gave this one 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. I am also just now realizing that I never continued on and read the 4th one in the series. So I need to do that. After that, I wanted something a little bit more contemporary, less dark. So I read All Downhill with You by Julie Olivia. This is in her Honeywood series. This series is set around like this super cute little amusement park. The main female character in this one was injured in a roller coaster like malfunction. And the main male character's company, like family company, is the one who created the roller coaster, and so he's there to find out what happened and if it was the roller coaster's fault the way it was built, or if it was the park's fault for not maintaining it the way they should have. And her job is also with the like amusement park, and so they work together a lot. I gave this one 4 stars. It was super cute. Book 2 is The Fiction Between Us. This one is about the amusement park's princess and her, I think it's her best friend's brother, who ends up coming for a security guard role, and then due to like him being at the wrong place at the wrong time, or right place at the right time, how you consider it, he ends up having to be her prince. And so there's working together. She doesn't really like, why does she not like him? Oh, old high school bully. It was one of those things where it was like a misunderstanding, but I ended up giving this one 4 stars. Book 3 is Our Ride to Forever. This one is a marriage of convenience, but they don't ever really tell anybody that they're married, until she needs a place to live, and he's like, well, why don't you just come live with your husband? And all of their friends are like, rewind, what are you talking about? So she moves in, so it's marriage of convenience. They're roommates, even though they didn't really plan to be. And yeah, I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed this one as well. Also now realizing I never finished the last one in this series either. I think because I was super nervous for the next couple. I should do that. Ugh, that makes me so nervous. After that, I read Rope Me In by Kayla Gross. This is in her Small Town Cowboys of Nighthawk series. This is book 2. This one is about was she a musician? Yeah, shy fiddle player from the city. He's the small town cowboy with the reputation of a playboy, and they'll be working side by side all day, every day. So forced proximity, opposites. I enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 stars. Little bit out of left field for me. I found the audiobook, and so I listened to Titan by Gillian Graves. This series name, y'all, is Romancing His Stone. This is a gargoyle romance, and he is literally somebody who can transform into a stone gargoyle. She is looking for a sugar daddy and ends up getting the call from Titan because she was on a date with somebody else, and so he wants to talk to her. There's a whole thing. I gave this one 3 stars. It was fine. I honestly didn't really expect to like it as much as I did. After that, I wanted something a little bit different for myself again. So I listened to the graphic audio. I feel like that's important for A Deal with the Elf King by Elise Kova. This is Married to Magic book 1. Basically I forget how often, but basically the elves come from like across this like magical border into the human world, and like needs a wife for the elf king, and the main female character gets chosen and is sent over into the magical world, and is I don't even know how to describe it. I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Wasn't super into the graphic audio at the beginning, but it did kind of like think for a fantasy like this, it like helped me understand the story rather than like the plain reading out the world building. So yeah, gave it 5 stars. Continued on, read book 2, A Dance with the Fae Prince. This one is kind of a Cinderella type story. Basically, her mother or stepmother or whichever it was sells her in a marriage, and the buyer is somebody who lives kind of like on the outskirts of town. Turns out he is the Fae Prince and like is only ever at that house like in certain times of the month or certain times of the year or whatever. But basically she like finds out about that and like goes over into where he normally is in the Fae world and like stays with him. I gave this one 4 stars. And then book 3 is A Duel with the Vampire Lord. I put 4 stars on Goodreads, but my journal has 3 stars. This was getting a little repetitive at this point. Basically, the human town is always about fighting vampires on the full moon. Well, she ends up going over across to the magical world where the vampires live and seeing like all the different things that like what she's been told and what they know and all that kind of stuff. This one was kind of where I got over this series, so I gave some 3 or 4 stars. I'm not sure which. More Formula One, Lights Out by Kayla James. This is a female racing driver and her teammate. I gave this one 3 stars. I don't really remember why, but I started this Holidays in Salem series by Kelly Elliott. Book 1 is a bit of hocus pocus. Let's see. Holly Craft has a problem. After casting a spell on Lucas, Holly believes she's truly a witch. When certain types of events start to happen to Lucas, is it just a bit of hocus pocus or is it fate? I did not continue on with this series. There was a Christmas one that I didn't read, so I'm not going to read a holiday romance when it's not near that holiday. It's just not something my brain can do. So I don't know if I'm going to continue on with this series. I gave this one, what did I give this one? It says 4 stars, so I liked it enough, but I don't know about it. Next was The Bootlegger's Bounty by Adriana Herrera. This is a poly romance. There's the 3 of them. She's trapped between an angel and a devil, a jazz singer on the run, a rum runner on the edge, and a gangster ready to risk it all. I gave this one 4 stars. Super short. I enjoyed it. Next up was Just Between Us by Lena Hendricks, book 3 in her King series. This one is Royal King, and he is a tattoo artist, but also has a little job on the side where he makes videos for women who want a little bit more spice. And one of his like subscribers, I don't know what the term was, basically he like makes his videos to her, but she doesn't know that. And then in real life, she ends up moving to the small town that he lives in for work. And just read this one. If you don't even read any of the other King's books, just read this one. It's so good. 5 stars. After that, I read Strung Along by Hannah Cowan. This is book 1 in her Cherry Peak series. This is a small town Canadian romance. The main female character, I think she was engaged or finds out her boyfriend or fiance or whoever was cheating on her. And so she decides that she is going to pack up and move herself to Cherry Peak. And it's actually the hometown of this famous country singer who is there trying to hide out. And they have a lot of run-ins and everything. I gave this one 4 stars. It's super cute. I think it's a nice like setup for a series that I haven't continued on with. And finally, I read Finding Hayes, book 5 in the Magnolia Falls series by Laura Pavlov. This one I gave 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. It's a marriage of convenience between 2 childhood best friends who had a misunderstanding. It wasn't even like a big fallout. It was just like, I think she overheard something and it wasn't really what he meant. But yeah, I gave this one 5 stars. Loved it so much. So yeah, that is my September and October wrap up. If you've read any of these, let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!